The King of Clay won't play anymore. Yes, it breaks my heart also. So, what is actually going on with Rafael Nadal? Welcome back to World Top Tennis, and today we're talking about what happened to Rafael Nadal. So let's get started. The heartbreaking news that the King of Clay would miss the French Open for the very first time since making his debut in 2005 broke a few weeks ago. We're talking about a competition that he's won 14 times in the previous 18 years, people. Only the unstoppable Novak Djokovic could beat him, and he did twice. And one match was against Robin Soderling for all ages in 2009 to eliminate him from the competition. In addition, the sole instance in 2016 before the third round that he actually withdrew due to an injury. Nadal has established himself as one of the greatest tennis players of all time, and in the opinion of some critics, the best. However, there isn't much more to his French Open retirement than first appears. Only a small number of athletes, if any, have experienced as many injuries as Nadal has during the course of his career. The Spaniard claims that he plays tennis while injured rather than being a perpetually injured tennis player. So, if the figures are accurate, Nadal has missed about a dozen major tournaments throughout the course of his career due to injury. If you don't already know, Rafael Nadal had Mueller Weiss syndrome throughout his career, an uncommon chronic foot ailment. It's a degenerative illness that causes the navicular bone in his foot to gradually shatter and collapse, which basically means that when he walks or runs for an extended period of time, he constantly feels discomfort. It's astounding to consider how Rafa has spent his entire career. While some critics believe that Nadal was fabricating the ailments that were discovered when he was a teenager, he postponed the surgery until 2021. His victories at the Australian Open and the French Open were particularly noteworthy last year for this reason. Nadal is already looking forward to learning how to maximize 2024, and this is what we can expect. In October of last year, Rafa's wife gave birth to a kid named after himself. Rafa, who is a first-time father, would undoubtedly enjoy spending as much time with his family as possible. Last year, he acknowledged that, while away from his son, it was occasionally challenging for him to focus on the matches. The reality is that not all tennis players can juggle playing tennis and taking care of kids. Some people would rather wait until their career reaches a certain point, and for Rafa, his first kid marks the conclusion of his career. Before his final season in 2024, though, some fans are relieved that he's taken a break to concentrate on his health and family, and many others think that he's already done enough for the sport. And you should also do enough for this channel, which brings you updates from the tennis world by subscribing to it. Done that? Now let's move forward. While others want to see him grace the court once more, the unpalatable fact is that Rafa's resurgence this year is frighteningly reminiscent to Roger Federer's comeback in 2022. This was following his loss in Australia as a result of his injury woes. For the first time since April 2005, he slid out of the top 10 after leaving double sun. Rafa was a top 10 performer for 912 weeks. I don't anticipate that record being surpassed anytime soon. The issue currently is that even if he could return very well at the end of the day, however, at that point the game might have changed drastically when the new generation takes over. Thus, there's a possibility we won't even see the recovery we're looking for. But one thing is certain, Rafael Nadal will prevail. When you're someone like Federer or Andy Murray, wildcards won't be hard to come by. Now, we're almost ready and probably staring at the last embers of the era of the Big Three with Federer gone, Nadal's retirement all but certain, and Novak not being his typical self. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't hold out for one last chance, one more swing of the racket, one more roll of the dice, because you never know what you might get, so don't lose hope, folks. Since Nadal is 37 years old, his retirement from the tour would have a comparable impact as Roger Federer's did last year. Everyone, especially his fierce competitors, became quite emotional. After recently acknowledging that he will always be part with Rafa when he finally quits, Novak has come to share the same sentiments regarding Rafa. Now that Nadal is the center of attention, though, is it worthwhile to sacrifice his life for it? In any event, maintaining your fitness requires you to put yourself through the hassle of training and recovery. Rafa wants to retire on his terms and won't accept it in any other way. Therefore, the answer is obvious. If you've been following tennis for a while, you probably concur with me that Rafa is pretty much the sport's best warrior. From a young, long-haired prodigy with a value comparable to Roger Federer's style, to an experienced, well-rounded player who knows how to win despite an injury. Rafael Nadal has achieved everything in sports. Still sharing the record for the most Grand Slam men's tennis titles is Novak Djokovic. 22 championships won in 3 fewer finals than Novak, 63 titles on clay, 14 French Open titles, 12 titles in Barcelona, 11 trophies at the Monte Carlo Masters, 10 titles at the Italian Open, a clay record 81-match winning streak, 92 ATP titles, 209 weeks at the top of the rankings, and 1,068 victories in ATP matches. The list of accomplishments is endless, and for those who believe that Rafa is only good on clay courts, keep in mind that he has won 6 slams on hard courts and 2 on grass. At Roland Garros, a 10-foot steel statue of Rafa has been constructed in his honor, and Barcelona's Open Center court has been renamed in his honor. However, his legacy has taken a terrible toll on his body, hurting it from head to toe. The Spaniard has been hitting every ball with such intensity and power for 20 years, you wonder exactly how mentally tough he is. Unfortunately, Rafael's battle with time and his body have deteriorated in a 5-set game, and it now appears like he will lose this one. The cumulative toll of countless exhausting baseline rallies has finally reached a breaking point for his body. He wouldn't lose his cool or smash rackets or even have needless temper tantrums. Since he's made of a different substance, many of us find his absence from the sport to be very significant. On a lighter note though, his football talents are impressive, even outside of the sport, because he frequently astounds everyone with his adept control. Nadal retires with about $135 million in prize money alone from his illustrious career, and with his astute business sense and involvement in other ventures, he'll continue to make millions of dollars even after his retirement. On the Mexican island of Cozumel, where he collaborated with Wolves manager Julen Lopetegui for the venture, Nadal reportedly restored 2 opulent hotels in 2013. Additionally, Nadal owns a number of hotels, eateries, and other buildings in Mallorca, including owning 10% of the football team RCD Mallorca. With football legend Cristiano Ronaldo, with whom he owns Tatel, a restaurant chain with many locations in significant cities throughout the world, they have possibly one of the largest partnerships in Spain. By the way, Nadal may earn more than €1 million just by appearing at a tennis tournament, and that's not even mentioning his academy's 26 courts and branches throughout the world. Nothing alters Rafa's legacy, and therefore it's only right that he bids farewell in his own way. Upon doing so, he'll have a lot to look forward to, like mentoring countless individuals, successful businesses, time with family and friends, and more. The bottom line is, he's given too much to the sport, and whatever he chooses will be the best for the sport. But this was all for today. But I know that you still want to know more about tennis, so here's one more video for you. I'll see you there.